Hello, how are we getting on? Hope you're well. Um, Trust you're all doing fine. If you're not, drop me a line. I always tell guests when I have them on tours, uh, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm a keen amateur. Don't mind having a go if you don't mind. Um, some people from the US don't get that sense of humour. And I think I think they think if they do get ill, I may operate on them or something. So sometimes there's a laugh. People find it funny. Other people there's a sort of nervous, tentative laugh. Is he serious? But to be fair, I had a guest 2 weeks ago. I was on the ferry coming from the Isle of Skye back over to the mainland, and it is. And the lady asked me, "Do we have to stay on the ferry the whole way across?" I said the alternative swimming. If you can swim quicker than the boat, feel free. But I wouldn't advise it. So it's kind of funny. Now, so yes. Anyway, so if you're feeling down, come here, drop me a line. Feel free. Don't mind listening to people's woes. But ta-da! The legendary Dark Silkie. Now, sometimes when people, my grandmother used to have a saying, self-praise is no recommendation. So whenever you say the legendary, and you're saying it, no. But this isn't just the ordinary Silkie, Dark Silkie. No, folks. This baby, you see that? This is the Cask Strength. Yes, batch number 2, 2021, bottle number 144 of 252, and bottled at 64.5%. Now, the human body is not designed to drink alcohol at 64.5%. It's just not. Okay? So why would they bottle something at what's basically a toxic level? I mean, if you were to start drinking this for a night, for a session, you ain't gonna last long. And please don't, because you'll be in really, really poor condition very, very quickly. So why would they bother bottling it that? Well, the idea is you get to play around with it. That's the point of cask strength whiskies. When they're at that high ABV, you will not get the best out of them. Even if you sit them and you go, oh, that's got lots of flavour. It's not at its best. You have to put water in it. And it's finding that point. Find where do you like it at. You get to water it down and dilute it. Take another drink of Guinness here. I've been talking all day, so my throat's a little bit dry. So, now, just to fill you in a little bit about the Silkie, it's produced by James Docherty and his wife Moira. I have to give credit to Moira as well. Down in Donegal, and they had a few problems, a few hiccups along the way, and now they've built one of the really exciting distilleries in Ireland. It's a fantastic place. It was crowdfunded and massively oversubscribed, and good. I'm glad. Interesting shape is still totally different than anywhere else. Bags of experience, bringing lots of new innovative ideas to Irish whiskey, and honestly, something that you'd really want to jump on board with. Now this is sourced. This is not their distilled product. They buy it in and source it and blend it themselves to get this taste. Now, a bit of blurb. I have to reach for the old glass because I'm getting old and my eyesight's starting to go. So, bear with me. Ta-da! The Silkies of the Donegal coast are mythical shapeshifters who shed their sealskin coats to become irresistibly enchanting sea maidens with long dark hair, deep soulful eyes and beautiful voices. If you've been on the Silkie and actually end up fancying a fish, it's the Cask Strength stuff you've been drinking, okay? Steer away from getting on with something with a sealskin. Our Silkie comes ashore at the Silver Strand in Mallinbeg. She dances in the soft moonlight, unaware of the handsome young fisherman watching her. Their eyes meet, their love is set. He's been on the Dark Silkie. She stays with him for many years, never revealing her secret until the day comes when the sea calls her back. Even today, Silkie seals follow boats around the coast of Donegal, keeping watch over the loved ones they have left on the land. It's very romantic, okay? But again, if you're trying to get get on with a seal, you really want to seek medical help. Anyway, the Dark Silkie Irish whiskey is inspired by these legends and is made to be savoured by a warm turf fire where stories are told and legends are born. The comforting, smoky aroma of the Dark Silkie whiskey balances the sweeter notes of pear, apple and ginger, non-chill filtered, for a richer character. Yes, I like the name Silkie. I like the fact that it's this sort of mermaid. I've all seen Splash with what do you call it, Daryl Hannah and stuff. but I do think I think when the legend was set up, there was one too many had been had. But yeah, bottle, this long slender bottle, natural colour, non-chill filtered, and I love the fact James often watches our show and comments and stuff, and he says the reason it's non-chill filtered is because he couldn't afford a chill filtration system. I love that level of honesty. It was just, I love that, you know. Bottled in small batches and displays the richness of the Dark Silkie blend of double distilled, triple distilled, peated single malts and soft grain whiskies with a remarkable supple and velvety character. When I first tasted the Silkie, I didn't particularly like it. I thought, there's too much noise with it. It's too a bit of this and a bit of that, and too much to all things. It was a bit like jazz, and I don't particularly like jazz all that. You know, nobody really knows what's going on, and hopefully it sounds good. It was kind of like that. However, as I drank it, you know, that's better than I remembered. Oh no, that the next time I tried it, the fourth time I tried it, I was going, you know something, that's actually pretty nice. I didn't think it's better than I thought it was. It's better than I thought it was. Until I'm halfway down the bottle. And this is over a period of months. And I just thought, my God, you know something, this is really, really, really good. Really good. And really well blended. And once you get past that, there's quite a lot going on. You think it's disjointed, but it's not. It actually works really, really, really well. This is even more all over. I don't want to say all over the place. There's lots more going on because this has peat in it. And the idea of Irish whiskey being triple distilled and non-peated is nonsense. In the middle of Ireland, you have the Bog of Allen. Huge for Ireland. I know there's people from the States watch these videos, and when we talk about big, you know, you guys are on the scale just incomparable. Australia and all, much bigger. For us, in the middle, there's a massive peat bog. Where else would people have got their fuel from? It was dug out, peat and burnt. And when you were drying their barley, drying their other grains, you know, malted oats and stuff, it would have been peated. Of course it would have been. And certainly in the north of Ireland, up in Ulster, it was kind of a signature style back in the day, a long time ago. So it's kind of been taken away, and people go, no, well, it didn't. And James is paying great heritage to the fact that the style of whiskey that would have been made and the style of poaching that would have been made down in Donegal was peated. So he has brought out this. There's another one as well, the Midnight Silkie, which is even more peated. Now, I'm going to nose this at 64.5%. I'm going to be very careful with it, because if you stick your nose straight into this at that level of alcohol content, you'll just ruin your palate for minutes and minutes and minutes. And you'll not get the best out of it. So, not getting a huge amount there because it's too high in ABV. I want to take a little taste, just a little. Again, alcohol burn straight there. But already there's flavour coming through there. And that lovely, even at that level, probably because it's at that level, you're getting that smokiness. But it's not, I mean, it's there, and whenever you've on the follow through, it just sort of lingers in your mouth, and it's really quite appealing. I mean, there's nothing like an open fire. If you're ever in Ireland and it's raining and it's cold outside, it's dark and gloomy and grey sky and the wind's howling, and you come in and you see that red and you feel the heat, and it's a peat fire, and the smell that comes off that, and it's just, there's nothing. You get a cup of tea, you sit down, and you chill out, and you start to warm, and if you have a whiskey, it just warms you from the inside out, and honestly, it's so worth going out when it's like that, to then get that feeling, that warming feeling. It just is poetic, it's beautiful, it's romantic, it's divine. It's divine. Anyway, I digress. This needs water, and it needs quite a bit of it. Don't be scared to put some water in this, okay? At 64.5%, you can be a bit rough with it, you know. I'll put a couple of teaspoons in, and we'll give it a wee minute, okay? Because 2 teaspoons in this, you're not taking it down to like 20%. You know, this is still above 40%. Give it a couple of minutes and there I go. There is this move to put more peat into Irish whiskey. You'll start to see more and more of this, and it's a good thing. There's other blends that have a little bit of peat content in it, and it just adds that layer of complexity that in many ways helps to give that complexity, to give interest to the bottling. Because to be fair, there isn't that much variation in Irish whiskey blends at the minute, because there's just not that much aged product. People are buying them from a very limited source, so they're trying to age it and finish it in casks, different experimental casks. And they're trying to add in different character, and one of the ways you can do that is add in different layers of peat, peated barley, or in some cases peated other cereals as well, in terms of pot stills and stuff, and it gives that different layer of complexity. And I personally really quite like that, and it's interesting to see how they get on. Now this, it's got a lovely nose. It really does. As you start nosing it, it starts at a level with very sort of deep fruit, almost bonbon-esque sweetness that very quickly stops and very quickly ends that bonbon sweetness, the sugary sweetness. Then you start getting the smoke. Then you start getting sort of toffee caramel, where it's developing on the nose, and really does develop quite markedly. And I think that's probably why with the original Silkie, I kind of was going, this is not working for me. It's probably because I was getting, but it actually develops. And once you start doing this is what Silkie does. It develops really, really, in really exciting ways. And at one point in this, on that developing nose, not very many whiskies develop on the nose the way they do in the palate. This does, and it does it really, really, really well. Really well. But at one point in this, after you put a little bit of water in it and bring it down, there is a wonderfully interesting note appears. And it's a fresh fish note. Don't be mistaken for fishiness. It's not fishiness. It's when you get a lovely piece of fresh fish. It has a kind of little briny note to it that pops up. And it does it in a way that it's really interesting. And it's not really common that you get that. It's just there. Just pops in, disappears, followed by a woodiness and nut, sort of hazelnut notes coming through. Hazelnut shell, actually, is probably more what it is. And the smoke's there. It does develop on the note. There's actually a lemonade note there too. So it's wonderfully complex. And it all kind of works really, really well. I promise you, buy bottles of this stuff, because when you get a chance, you open it up, and I promise you now, if you open it up and you don't like it, don't touch it for about a month, then go back to it and try it, and you'll be amazed when you start to go, yeah. Honestly, it's a journey with it, and like all really good products, it should be something that you can spend time with and enjoy and sort of educate yourself with. I'm going in for a taste. Probably could do with another little bit of water. There's still a little bit too much alcohol there. There's muscovado sugar. There's little notes of treacle, rounded fruit, boiled fruit sweeties, wine gums, a little bit of wine gum. Just another little touch of water in this. There's sweetness there. The smoke is interesting because it doesn't really happen for me until it's on the follow through. It's on the aftertaste. It's on that. It's more hinted at than being straight in your face. I mean, don't be fooled thinking that this is like a, I don't know, Lafroig or Ardbeg or something like that. It's nothing like that. Your smoky whiskies. It's nothing like that. It's just sort of hinted at. It's something that would complement you sitting down by a fire of an evening and just going, I know what I'll have a Dark Silkie, and you pour yourself one and you nose it and go, what am I getting now? What is that now? And it just changes. It just gives these little subtle touches of different things the whole way through, and you can put more water in it and it'll change it again, and you have it at that ABV and that ABV and that ABV, because you've got the option of doing it with the 64.5%. You will overwater these things. Sometimes that's what happens. You put too much water in them and you go, yeah, that's lost. It's lost what it had. You make a mistake. But the joy of buying a bottle like this is you're basically buying two bottles for one. You can do that. Pour yourself a little measure, overwater it, go, I want a bit OTT on that. I'll draw back the next one. And you can do that. And you can play with it. And you get that. This is a wonderfully crafted whiskey. I have so much time for what they're doing at Silkie. I think Sleeve League are... Well, they've started distilling, they're going to do the they're kind of a different thing. You have to sort of watch this because they have a little still and then they've got their big still now and whatnot. And what they do, what they're going to be doing in a few years' time, people will be raving about them. Everything they do is quality and class and well thought out and done right, and they respect their customers. They are striving to make the best product they can, and in this, I mean, it's changed again. There's on the tail end, there's much more citrus notes. It is because I could sit with this one glass and probably go on for about an hour, moving with it. So there's no point in really giving huge copious notes and going, oh, it's because people do this. They go, oh, it's wood, and then it's this, and then blah 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 blah, and it's 47 different flavours, and that's just not what a whiskey does. When you're smelling it, when you're nosing it and tasting it at that point. But the likes of this, because of the nature of it and the different water ratios that you're going to put into it, it does change. So there's no point in sitting going 40 different things to put in it or to tell you about. See, again, there's that fresh fish note is just there, that slightly briny note. There's some leather coming in now, and it's because it's sat. Once it settles down, you can play with this for hours. Honestly, buy yourself a bottle of this stuff and sit and experiment with it. And honestly, this is not going to make commercial sense for the guys down at Sleeve League, but a bottle like this, you could keep this for a few years and have a little bit out of it every month, and you could keep copious notes just on this one bottle. And that's really what I like about whiskey. I like this kind of stuff. I love being able to mess about with things, bring it out, get a mate, try that, see what you think. Oh no, that's too strong. I like it like that. And you can do this and have a real conversation about a whiskey and get excited about it and talk about it. And you'll get people talking about integrity bottles, and there's as much integrity goes in this as any 20-year-old Glen whatever from Scotland, and it just is. Don't be fooled by that. Oh, I only go for the integrity bottling, and it's owned by a big brand, and it's got an age statement on it, and they say it's non-chill filtered, and they say it's this, and so on and so forth. That's appealing to the same customer demographic, the same as your most common blend is. So there's as much integrity goes in their bottle, some of these bottles, and certainly this bottle, as any whiskey you'll ever buy. Okay, so yeah, they have to mark it. I really don't like doing marks because it kind of does my head in. But if I had to mark this, I'll give this 9 out of 10, simply because it just works really, really well for a cask strength whiskey, a proper cask strength whiskey, not your 46% cask strength on the label. This is proper cask strength. You can mess about with it, you can batter it and abuse it with water, you can batter and abuse yourself by not putting water in it if you really want. Don't do that. Don't put some water in it. But yeah, I love Silkie stuff. I love this, what they're doing down there, and going forward, they are going to absolutely soar, because this level of good product, something exciting that they get to put out. Yeah, Dark Silkie, Cask Strength. You can pick some bottles up. There's not that many bottles of it. There's only 252 bottles, but they do pop up at auction, and they're not particularly expensive. They're not expensive when they come out either, but they sell out really, really quickly. So get yourself a bottle of it and give it a whirl. So don't forget to join me and Justin on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube. I don't know. See Justin about all that stuff because it absolutely bores the tits off me, if I'm totally honest. So Facebook, YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatever it's called, LinkedIn. Yeah. So hopefully see you again soon, and thank you for watching. Cheers.